Good morning, everybody. I'd like to welcome you to Pulaski County Fiscal Court. It's going to be a unique court experience today, so I'm glad you all are here to enjoy this. But as is customary, before we start our meetings, we'd like to open up with the Pledge of Allegiance. And I've asked Honorable Judge Tapp, if he would, he's with us today, if you would be so kind and to open us up with the Pledge of Allegiance, sir.
Thank you. If you would please rise and repeat after me.
Aye.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, go ahead and call this meeting to order, and then the first item on the agenda will be the approval of the minutes from our previous meeting. You all received a copy of those minutes. What would be your pleasure?
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, and next item on the agenda, then we've got a special group with us today. It's always an honor for us as your fiscal court to recognize our outstanding youth in this community and achievements. And we've got a group here, if you all remember, just not too long ago, that had the special privilege of going to our nation's capital to perform at the inauguration. This is the Northern Middle School Choir. Am I saying it right? June Carell is the leader of the choir, but we have the girls and boys from the school here today, and we want to honor them with our highest honor, which is a Pulaski County Colonel Certificate. But we would like to be blessed by hearing a performance of what you were able to do at the nation's capital. So if you all would be kind enough to do that for us, we'd love to hear that.
Thank you. My name is Frances Martin. I accompany these students as I play piano. I'm a piano player. Okay. Miss Carell, unfortunately, has flu. She was diagnosed last night. The doctor said, get in the bed, stay there, and do not go anywhere. She said, I won't be because she can't even stand up. She's so sick. So we're very much going to have to rely on our students they know this, and but please bear in mind, their great leader is not here. But we do have Parker Sellers, who is the president of this group, and I'm going to let him come at this time, please, Parker. And he knows and they know how to line up as sections. Would you like for us to kind of do it this way so that we sing forward?
Well, we'd like the cameras to be able to capture you, Ross. Where would you like them to perform at?
Oh, okay, so then do they need to be on the other side of the microphone? Okay. So Parker Sellers, one of our 8th graders, and all of these students are just 7th and 8th grade. That we
Amazing.
have with us today. Thank you for letting us come.
Okay, sopranos, just sopranos. Just to make it easier on everybody, stand right here.
And what's your step, please?
Yeah, there's a stair.
Don't worry, I do that all the time.
Okay, altos. On the other side.
Just so you know to go, kiddos.
And then tenors and basses in the middle. Sopranos are over here.
Okay. Here's middle C. Yeah. Okay. Ooh, I know how to play this now. Okay. He's gracious enough to let us use his phone to get our pitches. So I need for you to pay close attention. The first thing we're doing, of course, is our national anthem. Okay? I don't know if this will be heard there or not. Bum, bum, bum. Ready? Well, it started, didn't it? How do we turn this off? I told you I was a piano player, not a telephone player. Okay. Okay, here we go. Bum, bum, bum. Okay, we need F below middle C. Everybody ready for My Old Kentucky Home? That's F. You got F here? Got it? Let me lay that down before I mess up. Got your starting note? Everybody ready?
The sun shines bright on my old Kentucky home. 'Tis summer, the fields are a-red. 'Tis summer, fields are a-red. Corn tops ripe and the meadows in the bloom, while the birds make music of the day. Weep no more, my lady. Oh, weep no more today. Today we will sing one song for my old Kentucky home. For my old Kentucky home, far away. The day goes by like a shadow o'er the heart. A shadow with sorrow delight. They sing no more by the glimmer of the moon. Oh, my old Kentucky home, good night. Weep no more, my lady. Oh, weep no more today. Today we will sing one song for my old Kentucky home. For my old Kentucky home, far away. For my old Kentucky home, far away.
Yeah.
Thank you all. Thank you all so much. I wanna,
Do you want the picture afterwards? No, you guys. Okay. We want to take a picture. Do you want them to sit back and take a
So,
picture?
buddy, you growed up on me.
Yeah, she needs to take a picture.
It sounded good.
You have got to be kidding. Well, I thought you looked like.
All right, let me take a picture with everybody. Inappropriate text messages. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
what I'll do, I wanna read the names, and then I'm gonna give the certificates to you to.
Here, I'll take them
If
too.
you would, please. You wanna take those?
Okay. Guys, why don't you come on over here? So-
But you all have made Pulaski, Bedford County, and Kentucky very proud for what you've accomplished there. It's amazing to see seventh and eighth graders with such talent and such a beautiful harmony. I love seeing that. And I'm gonna read these names to you. Of course, you've got Jude Correll, not here, he's the director, and then Francis Martin is the confidence. Is that how you pronounce
Like a
it?
piano player.
Okay. Parker Sellers, the president. Haley Blevins is the vice president. Carly White is secretary. You have Aaron Atwell, Noah Beckish, Shelby Black, Austin Crawford, Chelsea Denny, Shelby Ebling, Hunter Fain, Gillian Faulkner, Justin Foster, Leah Idlewine, Jackson Martin, Alex Meese, Dylan Mink, Bailey Mize, Hannah Nix, Caroline Oakes, Adrian Parker, Andrew Renner, Roxana Cedrinia, Luke Shannon, Aaliyah Chevelle, Amelia Smith, Isaiah Smith, Kelly Sutton, Abram Tingle, Addison Wilson, Lauren Worley, and Emma Wright. So ladies and gentlemen, your Northern Middle School choir, thank you all very much. And we look to see great things continue coming from this group too. So anytime you want to come back.
Well, it was a fabulous trip and such an honor to be there. And it was amazing to see, when you look out on the Potomac River and you see those big gunboats, you're thinking, nobody's getting through that line, you know, with it. And everywhere we stepped, there was Secret Service agents. The dogs were all around us. So it was just an amazing trip. And to know that Thursday night when they had the concert of Lee Greenwood and so forth, these children got to sit up there in the VIP section because they performed for the presidential inauguration. They were allowed to sit there and get to enjoy the concert and all the fireworks. And I believe, kids, you would say you'll never forget it, right? And it was just amazing. And then the actual inauguration was amazing.
We're very pleased to say that they're ours. You know, we're proud of you guys and girls. So thank you all for what you do, and thank you for your commitment and your investment in these children.
Oh, they are well worth it. They are. Thank you.
Thank you. Y'all are welcome to stay, or if you need to go back and take tests and don't want to miss out on any schoolwork, you're welcome to leave as well.
We're running a little behind. It was the state test, just happened to be today. The state tells you who to give it to and what time. And so there was no going back, so we did have to wait on it. So thank you. I'm sorry.
Okay. Thank you all.
Thank you.
What? Oh, they're on the podium.
Thank you so much. You don't want to forget that? Yeah, I gotta get these. Thank you.
Okay, continuing on then, next item on the agenda will be old business. And in old business, we have today opening of sealed bids. Got those.
No, that's not blank.
Okay.
No.
One of them is for construction, one's for maintenance.
I got you.
I'm understanding it right, is it?
Yeah. I taught school with Blaine's mommy. She was
One bid, and I've
yeah,
looked at both of
no
them.
wonder. She's at Northern and been there for years.
This is the trail expansion project, 4.65 miles, submitted by Parsons Construction Services. And like the bid amount. Bid amount, $34,750.
Pretty privileged.
Yeah. We don't wanna do like the Oscars did the other night and get the.
Yeah, that was bad, wasn't it?
This is for the maintenance and signage project, 1.85 miles. Bid for this is $27,750.
Was that also Parsons?
Yes, Parsons, I'm sorry. So if somebody wants to look these over and make sure, or make a motion to accept them. To review.
How about we let Dan and Johnny and Alex, Joe, look at the specs over, make sure they do. Okay, then the next item on the agenda will be our second reading of our electrical inspection fees ordinance. We had our first reading in our last meeting.
Before I summarize that, the court asked me at the last meeting to look into the open versus closed county that we discussed a few years ago, and I did that. And actually, since they've amended ordinances, amended statutes and so forth, they've basically done away with open versus closed. And now, the court can just can approve inspectors and just maintain a list for anyone to use. Technically, we probably should have a contract with each inspector so that, and we can do a form contract in the county judge's office. If people want to come in and fill it out, we have to give them a list of the ordinance the fees that are in this ordinance, and once the court approves them, then a list will be maintained in the county judge's office for anyone to do electrical inspection.
So do we have to vote to do that, or we just?
No, I mean, that's the way the law is, and right now, we've only got the contract with one, yeah.
I've got a question regarding that too, Martin. If we do allow someone to become an inspector, and we're having issues with that inspector, what's the process of?
Court's gonna have to approve them and remove them.
What would be the qualifications to get on the list?
Court approval, I mean, they're gonna have to be a qualified, certified electrical inspector according to the state standards.
Have their state certification?
Yes, yeah. I mean, you couldn't hire me, you couldn't put me on the list, because I can barely screw a light bulb in. So. They'd have to be a certified electrical inspector.
The state does that.
The state regulates all of that.
As long as
You
they
ought
have to have their credentials that they are.
Yeah, yeah, you just, we check with the state and make sure that they're credentialed through the state. If they are, and they're up to date on all of their continuing education, hold a valid certification, and if you all want to put them on the list, you can.
Does that valid certification, does that include bond and insurance?
Let's see.
And if it doesn't, is that something that we could require?
I think you could.
I would think the state would require that.
I would
they
think that the
probably
state would
do.
require it.
The applicant has to have 5 years' experience. It's got the different kinds of residential, commercial, and so forth and so on. Currently licensed as a master electrician, possess the ability to read, write, yada, yada, yada. It's a Kentucky administrative regulation where all of that is set out. I can look at that and see and report back to you instead of taking up time. As you can see, it's a little bitty print, so.
Correct.
I'll look at it and see. But I think since the state regulates them, that they're going to require all of that.
I would too. I just think it would be safe for us, if for some reason that they don't, that we make that as a requirement also.
I'll look at that. As far as the second reading of the ordinance, really the only change to we're amending the prior ordinance, and the only change is the large commercial and industrial jobs, where we changed it to $125 per hour, but the total not to exceed 1% of the total contract price. So it would either be an hourly rate, not to exceed 1% of the contract price.
Entertain a motion to accept this second reading.
Motion? Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, Next item on the agenda then will be our new business, and we have some petitions for roads to be taken in and also to be removed from the county road system. So we need to set up some committees to look at these. First one I have is, actually there's 2, 3, first district. We've got the Polo Road extension, wanted to be added to the county road system. Then we have West Golden Island to be added to the county road system. And we have Morning Mist Way to be removed from the county road system. So this is the first district. We have volunteers who look at those for us and bring back a report. Put you on there too? Okay.
That was in the packet. That was in the packet.
All right, thank you. And then the next ones we have then, we've got one in the 3rd district. Name of the road is Sunrise Drive, to be removed from the county road system. Need volunteers to go and check that out.
You can put me on that one if you want to.
Mr. Maxey with you on that one? Volunteer him for that?
Yeah, be fine.
Do that, please. And then finally, in the 4th district, we have Cove Creek Drive to be added to the county road system, and also Meadow Creek Drive to be added to the county road system. Would you be willing to look at those for us?
I'll go look at them.
Go along with Master Wilden. Go with him, all right. And then once we hear back from you, we'll set up our road hearings on those roads. Next item on the agenda then is a resolution for Southwestern Pulaski Water District. Just to kind of tell you what we've learned, they're wanting to do some work in their district that's gonna take them across county right-of-ways and basically just to make sure there's an understanding that they will repair what they tear up, and put it back the way they found it. We just wanted to have a resolution to address that. So we can read this.
I think you've summarized the gist of it. They agree to, if they disturb any county property or area belonging to the county, then they're to put it back to reconstruction standards.
Be your pleasure regarding this resolution.
Motion.
You have a motion? Second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. You all have a recommendation for us on the bid?
Alex?
Alex. The
Do you have a
judge asked,
recommendation or any concerns on this bid? Please.
Yeah, we've reviewed the bids and everything meets the specs that, as advertised. And the bids were within the estimates that we did 2 years ago. So, yeah, everything's in line.
These the same people that done it to start with?
No, actually, that was another Andy. This guy's name's Andrew Parsons, and the other guy was Andrew Sowell. But both of them, Andrew probably in a lot of ways has even more experience than that fella. So we're real excited to get started, and he's actually been involved and working with us from the beginning. So he's already walked every bit of it, and he's got dozens of mountain bike trail projects under his belt. So we are ready to go. And,
Make a motion to approve the bids?
Second.
Second. Any further discussion? When will they, this is anticipating getting this done by the end of the year? Is that,
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. December 31st was the ultimate completion date of everything, but we're gonna do the signage project first and the trail maintenance project, which is, that's why there was two different projects, because it's two different pots of money. Some money can be used for one thing, but it can't be used for the other, so it's all one project, but it's actually two. We'll try to get the trail signage and everything done before spring hits, and that way people can find their way out of there, not to be getting lost like they have been. And then we'll be on to the trail maintenance, and then finish out with the trail expansion part. But yeah, I imagine that we got one more little hurdle to get over with. The highway department has they have to sign off on the plans, and they're not familiar with mountain bike projects, and so they're not sure exactly, what we need to have as far as plans and whatnot. But I think we can get that unlocked here, in the next week, and they'll be ready to start. So
Right.
we'll be going before, probably the middle of March or something like that.
let's take a vote then. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you. Appreciate all your work there, Alex.
Thanks, Alex.
Brings us to our department reports. Sheriff, do you have anything? Coroner Strunk, welcome back. Good to have you.
Your prayers during my unsolicited sabbatical. I appreciate it. We've been very busy at the coroner's office. Thought you might be interested in knowing we've had the busiest 2 months ever, 101 death investigations in 2 months. I think something the court might be interested in. We did 3 indigent burials the entire year last year. We've already did 3 in 2 months this year. So it looks like it's going to be a trend that is increasing in number of folks who, for whatever reason, the county must bury. So just let you be aware of that.
Thank you. Stacy, would you have anything for the court today?
I wanted to ask the court's permission to, for a bid on some repeater equipment that, actually a new repeater out east of Somerset. And I know you're aware of some of the situations we had with some outage or spotty issues. The total probably, we're looking at probably around $45,000, give or take some, but we was able to save quite a bit of money off that. I can go down and give you a brief thing of the entire repeater system if you want me to real quick.
That would help the sheriff's department as well.
Yeah, it's what it is. These new people called Vertical Bridge, they're out of Florida. They're buying every tire they can get their hands on. You can look on a map on the United States, and they're buying everything. This is who we're getting space through. And this will, once we do this repeater system, this will benefit the Board of Education, the Sheriff Department, the TAC 1, the east that they have for the PD channel. Also, the Shopville Fire Department's putting a repeater system there. And then the county fire, it'll cover north and east, which right now is real bad. So by putting this tire up and everything, I mean, we budgeted in last year's budget for the fire commission, and it's just now where we've got the license and everything to do it with. And they've got the new tire constructed is what the new company did to come in. The one tire was leaning, so they built an entire new tire. So everything's gonna be switched over. Another way we saved some money on it was this company is charging, they're charging $1,500 a month per antenna, okay? For the antennas we was putting on it, would have cost us $18,000 a year. So we went and bought a combiner, or we're going to buy a combiner, which will enable all the frequencies that I mentioned will be able to run on 2 antennas. So we're going to be paying $7,200 a year instead of $18,000 for space, and that will increase our coverage. We're hoping out east, up north, and like I said, it'll benefit the sheriff and PD, the Board of Education, Shotwell Fire Department, and so on. So we're just asking for permission to get this project bid.
Motion to advertise for bid.
Second.
In a second, any further discussion? All in favor?
No.
Stacy, may I ask a question? Well, I meant when you said for discussion, I went to a meeting Friday morning at the I think it's EOS in Richmond, Madison County.
EOC in Fayette.
Yeah. And one of the things they identified, because as we've all discussed, there's areas in this county, north, south, east, west, that there are holes that deputies or first responders are requesting, and we can't hear them. And sometimes we hear, well, they're not picking up quicker at 911, but in reality, we've got dark areas in this county. And someone had told me there's a company, and that could be a company that come in and look at our county and say, this is where you need a tower, this is where you need a tower, this is where you need a tower, to get the optimal.
Pretty much basically with that, as far as building a tower, you're talking mega dollars.
Well, I'm just saying
far
that looks at the county as a whole.
Yeah. I mean, the tires and repeaters that we got now is pretty much where they're at. And by adding this one that we're doing now, that should take care of a lot of stuff. Is where we experienced some problems and we're tweaking all that is where we switched over to the narrowband frequency, which is mandated by law.
Mm-hmm.
Have you all switched over yet, Sheriff? Of course. Okay. I know we had a certain time limit to switch over. I know all the county fire and everything is switched over, and that kind of killed some coverage areas, so we are having to tweak some of the repeaters and get some of them worked on. But once we get this east end up, we're hoping that's gonna take care of a whole lot of stuff. I mean, we got a repeater south we put probably 3 or 4 years ago, and then once we got that up and going, that worked out real well. And I mean, all the fire departments south, they have a little trouble from time to time, but that's going to be understandable. You know, we have to go back and tune some things and do a few upgrades. But when you start with that repeater stuff, I mean, this is a pretty good deal for what we got on this as far as the paying the rent and stuff. And we even asked the bridge place, the vertical bridge, we even asked them if that was all right if we only use 2 antennas, one to put everything out, one to receive everything. And by using that combiner, all the agencies I mentioned can be talking at the same time on the antennas. There's only like 2 of them. So,
Yeah, okay.
I mean, that's how complicated that stuff can get with
Right.
radios and everything. But that's a big plus for us in saving a lot of money. So, I mean, we're working on it constantly, trying to get and I've talked to Aaron over at 911, so me and him's been talking back and forth about the digital and the turbo moto stuff, and, you know, we talked about that, I guess, after you all got back.
Yeah, because there was I guess it was a grass fire out in Mount Victory, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And I was listening to the traffic, and I
Yeah.
tell you, at times I've had.
Well, a lot of that is, you go from talking on a mobile radio, a 50-watt radio, maybe in a vehicle, to a 2-watt handheld radio. And that is what the problem is. A lot of the firefighters are like, especially in the wooded area.
Right.
You get in the wooded area down the hills or mountains, and you're not going to get out. I mean, like in some of the fire departments are starting to put repeaters on board trucks, so you can key back from your walkie and hit the truck and actually talk through the truck to the repeater system, and that's working out good too. I mean, we're constantly looking for a way to improve the communications, so we're all able to be heard by 911. So,
Yeah, good deal.
anything else about it, or
Appreciate you.
we should hopefully have that after we get the bids out and everything. Should be up and running hopefully before too long.
Thank you.
Depending on the weather.
Linda, I didn't mean to skip you. Did you have anything that you needed to address our court today with? Road Department, Jordan, you care to come to the microphone, please?
Loving that, aren't you, Jordan?
Just have a couple of things today. One, I'd like to thank, on my absence, having our second child, I'd like to thank the people that stepped in and helped out at the road department. We greatly appreciate that.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you. It's time again to mix coal mix, so I'd like to ask for approval on 600 ton of coal mix.
Motion. Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Lastly would be approval for 3,000 ton of various rock for the March.
Motion.
Second.
Second, any further discussion?
Hey, Jordan, let me ask a question. We've been discussing it time with the rock. Do we have a spec that when we request it to these suppliers, like for dense grade, that blah, 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 blah?
As far as the spec, like the state sets out, no. We have just a various rock that could range from channel liners to dense grade to 8s to 57s, anything in between. But as far as actual spec of what the dense grade has to consist of, no.
Jordan.
All in favor?
Aye.
Road work
Opposed?
request.
Oh.
Carried.
Yeah. Forgot the most important thing.
You got a speed limit on one there. West Racetrack Road in a second.
We have
Motion.
a speed limit, then we need a motion to approve the speed limit on West Racetrack.
Second.
Motion second, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Motion to approve the rest of the road work.
Second. Motion second to approve the road work request, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Solid waste. Danny, do you have anything for us? No, sir. I keep marking the wrong one. Okay, 911. Thanks, Mike, for keeping me in line. I keep skipping departments.
We would like to ask the court's permission to advertise for part-time help. We are one full-timer short. We've got a couple getting ready to go to the academy. And we just feel like by hiring part-time that it would make us more flexible on a need basis.
Motion to advertise.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Adam, or Animal Control Officer, anything today? Treasurer, Joan, you have?
Yes, I have one item for your consideration. It is fund transfers from general fund to various other funds.
Got a
Motion.
Okay, you got a motion? Approve the fund transfers?
Second.
Second, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
That is all I have, except that last week I went to the budget workshop, so it is officially budget time.
Don't we love it?
Oh, yes, we do. Got some good news. You know, we got some, Jimmy went, we got some good news and some bad news, so, you know, it's always the same. You know, good news is mixed with bad news, so.
Next week then, I guess, right? Okay, well, that brings us in,
You can, I hope you can.
brings us into our citizens' comments, and we always welcome our citizens to address the court. We asked it courtesy just to give us a day's notice to be put on the agenda. We're gonna make an exception here since the whole group came in, but we have with us Flashback Theater. We're gonna do something fun here in the area, and you wanna talk to the court?
Yeah, actually, I just wanted to come in and introduce myself and also Flashback. I do have a couple of board members with me. Debbie Oliver is of Nancy, and Ron Kidd of, I try to put him in Ferguson all the time, but he tells me repeatedly he's in Somerset. I also have a Let's Play company member with us today, Noble Cunningham, who's over there. So you all kind of have some of our materials with you, so you can look those over. But one of the things I want to say, just thank you for supporting the youth in arts. It's kind of fitting that I showed up on a day where you all are supporting the kids that are learning to love art. That's what Flashback is all about, is the passionate pursuit of theater that speaks to the soul. And one of the things that we want to do is tell the stories of our area, but also provide an outlet for the kids once they get out of school to be able to still pursue the performing arts. So that's something that moving forward, I hope you all will think of Flashback when you're looking for things to do here in town. We are the first producing theater company in Somerset, and what that means is we use all local talent. I've got Ron building sets, painting, doing all the lighting. We use all people that are here to put these shows together, and that's something that as like Somerset High School is developing a lot of kids that just love to do theater. They're putting on really amazing productions. I know your daughter's involved in a lot of those. But then once they graduate, if they stay in town, they don't have that outlet really anywhere else. Flashback can be that outlet. So we are still very new. We're only 2 years old. But we have a production this weekend, actually. If you all want to come check us out, we're going to be at Stoner Theater at the college campus. It's Around the World in 80 Days. It's a comedy, but it's based on Jules Verne's classic literature novel. So I'd love it if you all would just come out, say hi, meet us, get tickets, see the show, bring your family, find out what we're all about. It's really important, I think, to have culture here, and I love what you all are doing with the parks. I'd love to be able to connect into the parks and be able to start offering programming there. I'm putting together, we've just applied for a grant from the NEH, which is the National Endowment for Humanities, to develop stories with playwrights here about Pulaski County. That's something I'd like to be able to then tour to some of the county parks and make available to the citizens of Pulaski County to learn about their history here. We did a production in August, not last August, the August before, and The Tide Shall Cover the Earth. That was about Lake Cumberland being built and a family that got displaced. And it really gave kids and parents the opportunity to think about, we kind of take for granted Lake Cumberland. We don't really think about the people that got displaced. And there's so many other stories like that here. We're currently developing Rosie's, which is a play about Rose Will Monroe, who is from Science Hill. She was the iconic Rosie the Riveter, female empowerment of World War II. So those are the stories that I want to bring to light from Pulaski County, and I just hope you all will kind of engage with those with us and become a part of Flashback Theater. So any questions, feel free to contact me, give me a call sometime or email me, and I'm happy to talk to anyone, anytime.
Just out of curiosity, how much are the tickets for the?
If you flip that postcard over, we actually have adult and student pricing, and we have advanced indoor pricing, so it depends. If you come to the door, adults are 15, students are, I believe, 10. And then, if you buy in advance, adults are 12 and students are 8. So, and it's definitely, it's a fun time. So, I hope you all can make it out.
Thank you all for what you do.
Yes, thank you.
Anything else? Adjourn? Waiting on you, man. Would you have a second?
Second.
All in favor?